I get quite a lot of questions about these. Normally it's when they're doing emotes or look particularly interesting. They're not your average thralls, so what are they? These are Thespians, and I use them for populating builds. How do they work? Well, today I'll be teaching you. So without further ado, let's get started. Thespians come from the Pippi mod, probably one of Conan's most popular mods. It's been around for a good while and has become pretty much essential for server admin functions. It doesn't just do admin stuff, it's got a bunch of other functionality, and today of course we are covering the Thespians aspect. This mod is of course available on the Steam Workshop. So what actually are Thespians? They look like thralls, but they're not. They are essentially placeable actors, as the name suggests. They don't draw aggro, they don't fight for you, they can't work on workbenches, they are essentially decorative people. It sounds a bit strange, but when you see how they work it'll make sense. In that aspect, things are pretty simple on the face of it. You place them down as you would a chair or a table, and there they are. From there, if you interact with them you get a fairly expansive menu. We'll firstly focus on customising the Thespians, as that's what I get the most questions about. Thespians can be customised to roughly the same degree as the player character when you first start the game, in some aspects even more so. If you click on the character editor, this is where you get your bread and butter menu. It's pretty self-explanatory and you'll likely feel at home with it within 5 to 10 minutes at most. You can change your physical attributes in the visuals menu. That includes your face, your hair, your facial hair, makeup, and of course warpaint too, which you can mix and match. You can also access a few different facial hairs that don't seem to usually be available. I'm not sure if they come with the mod or if they're just buried somewhere in the base game files. The colours tab is where you'll of course change the colour of all the aspects you've made previously. Makeup, warpaint, hair, eyebrows, it's all available here. None of these colours are terribly fancy for the hair. That's probably where other mods would have to come in and make those choices available. Scale art is where you will make those finer adjustments. You can adjust your height, muscle definition, and even smaller things like eye size and angle, nose width and curve, cheekbones, etc. Additionally, you'll see the local storage button up top. This is probably one of the best features. When you open it for the first time there will be nothing there, but this is where you can save preset designs to quickly load onto any Thespian or even yourself through Pippi's extended admin menu. The customization interfaces work well with a plethora of cosmetic mods, meaning you can use custom hairstyles, makeup, warpaint, etc., and then save that preset for future use. The equipment menu is even simpler, allowing you to add armour and weapons to your Thespian. Do be aware this is independent of the emotes feature we'll cover in a second, so weapons may not be held correctly depending on the emote you choose or lack thereof. This menu does respect dyes on armour, and like before you can save layouts and presets. I found this menu generally works quite well with modded armours and weapons, although I've maybe experienced a handful of crashes at most with certain mods. Back out of that menu, on the left hand side you will see the emotes section. This is where you can choose pretty much every emote in the game and apply it to the Thespian. This is not a perfect process, some emotes are a bit buggy, and there are a few that flat out will not work, and there are a few that will partially work, but the majority work as you'd expect. There are 5 categories, the first 2 being a massive list of most of the emotes. The third is motion, so stuff like walking and swimming. Combat is all your weapon stances without the new rest animations, and misc contains a single emote. Once you've selected your emote, you can adjust the animation's speed. This doesn't work for all of them, but some of them can be slowed down or sped up. Animation lock will freeze the emote at the selected frame. This is a pretty good option for in-game photos, though some emotes that don't play properly when this is set to 0, for example chair, sit is one that always doesn't work for me, it will work properly if you set the lock to 1. That's just something you'll pick up through using the mod. Below the emote section is the equipment kit. I've not really used this before, but it seems fairly simple in that you can create kits of gear in the admin menu and they can then be loaded straight onto Thespians as a preset. In the middle left side you'll find some basic accessibility and safekeeping options, allowing you to disable the interaction menu if you just want the Thespian to be decorative, and to allow or disallow clan members to adjust the Thespian. In the top third of the window is the more complex roleplay focused stuff. You can name any Thespian and type in a custom profession. There is also a menu for choosing professions which you can make yourself in the admin panel. You can get these details to show on the preview window by changing the Thespian type. You've got a banker preset, 2 merchants which will have a configurable trading interface, and dialogue Thespians. Full disclosure, I've never really used the merchant or banker features, so I'm not 100% certain how to set them up, but I think you do it in the admin panel the same as you would for the equipment kits. Dialogue Thespians, however, are something I've used before. If you've set your Thespian to dialogue, you can then launch Mushi Editor, which is Pippi's own coding interface. Yeah, I told you, this mod's got depth. Here you can create simple conversation strings or craft deep quest trees. Thespians can have branching dialogue trees, they can check for items, they can take or give items. Pretty much most of the stuff you'd want is more than doable in Mushi Editor. It's very impressive, and even though I've only used it at realistically more of a surface level, it's no surprise that Pippi is such a mainstay in the modding community. So to wrap things up and answer the question of how did you get your thrall to do a weapon emote, Pippi's Thespians. You see this mod a lot in my videos. Almost every single time you see an NPC, it's a Thespian. I'm pretty sure Pippi has not left my mod list since probably 2021, maybe even earlier than that, and there's very good reason for it. Whilst it's easy to view Pippi as just a server admin mod, which I definitely did back in the day before I actually tried it, Pippi has a lot of functionality, and if you really like building and world building especially, Pippi's Thespians are a great option to just throw around your build to make it look a bit more populated. I have also covered Pippi's camlock, which I think is one of its most unique features. If you're interested in learning more about it, the card for that video is in the top right. Thank you for watching, and of course a massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. The question about thralls doing weapon emotes is coming up more and more regularly, so I thought rather than just answering every comment, I thought it would be much easier to make a video that not only gives the answer but explains in an in-depth and accessible way how to do it, and hopefully this video has served that purpose well. Again, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.